Welcome to our Cork Unitarian Church Sunday service, and today's Sunday Thoughts will be about people who inspire us. You may have heard the expression, monkey see, monkey do. I say that there's some truth in that expression, because like monkeys, humans are social animals who learn a lot through imitation of each other. Perhaps in our contemporary culture, we place too much emphasis on learning as merely acquiring knowledge, just pouring facts and figures into our brains. But there's a whole other style of learning which is based on modeling behaviors. And that brings us to today's topic of people who inspire us. Not a bad topic for a church service, because often religions look to help inspire us to do better. And religions often present to us people whose purpose it is to do just that. Depending on the particular religion, we may have saints, prophets, judges, patriarchs, angels, even God in human form. Some may be real, some may be legends, and some are in between or a little of both. Some of us will relate more easily to some of those, and others will relate more easily to others. So let's break this down a bit. What if, instead of asking you to think about who inspires you, I'll ask instead, what type of person inspires you? This would also get us to a closer idea of what does it take to inspire you. At the most basic level of learning by imitation, we have our role models. These are people who inspire us. They may be real live people who we actually know, or they could be people we don't actually know, like celebrities, historical figures, people who have died, or even fictional characters. With a role model, how well we know the person is not what changes our behavior. It's much more a matter of how much impact their story has on us. And it's not so much their literal story that impacts us as it is our perception of that story. So, now going beyond role models, we are also changed by our mentors. A role model may be someone we only know from a distance, and it may even be a one-way relationship where we're aware of them, but they have no knowledge of us. And that's often the case with celebrity, historical, or fictional role models. Another potential source of inspiration for us are mentors. Not all of our role models are also our mentors, but our mentors are typically role models for us. This is because a mentor always interacts personally with us to inspire us to be better. It's definitely a two-way relationship in that the mentor and the mentee know each other. Another category of people who inspire us are heroes. Heroes are simply people who perform heroic acts. And for our discussion, we can say that heroic acts all share these four characteristics. First, they are acts performed as a service to or for others, with that other being either a person or a community. Second, the acts are voluntary, not required or expected, and be considered to be above and beyond the call of duty. Third, the acts present personal risk and costs of a sacrificial nature. And fourth, the acts offer no offsetting personal gain expected at the time they were performed. So, just as sometimes our role model might also be our mentor, It is also the case that sometimes our role model or mentor might also be a hero. There have been various efforts to try to collect examples of heroism so they can be analyzed, understood, and perhaps even encouraged. One example of this is the Giraffe Heroes Project, which has cataloged the acts of over 1,400 heroes. The Giraffe Heroes Project chose its name because its goal is to encourage more people to stick their necks out. Another project underway is the Heroic Imagination Project. According to Matt Langdon, the president of the Heroic Imagination Project, quote, "The opposite of a hero is not a villain. It's a bystander." So, with that philosophy in mind, this project has been conducting training and workshops for businesses and schools across the world. Whether taking on bullying, improving workplace culture, or confronting discrimination, the project is committed to teaching skills so people and groups can act heroically every day. Psychologist Phil Zimbardo is a researcher who specializes in hero research. Based on a survey of 4,000 people living in the U.S., Zimbardo came up with these observations. Zimbardo's first observation was that heroes surround us. In that survey of 4,000 people, 1 in 5, that's 20%, qualify as heroes based on the 4-point definition of heroism I just mentioned. And none of those people in this 20% had ever been formally recognized as a hero. Now, of that 20%, 72 report helping another person in a dangerous emergency. 16% reported whistleblowing on an injustice. 6% report sacrificing for a non-relative or a total stranger. And 15% report defying an unjust authority. Now, the second observation that was made was that opportunity matters. Most of the heroic acts occurred in urban situations. There were simply more people in situations of need. So that created more opportunities to perform heroic acts. The third observation was that education does seem to matter. The more educated a person was, the more likely they were to be a hero. That's because maybe they were just more aware of situations where they could be of assistance. And the fourth observation was that volunteering matters. 1/3 of the 20% who were heroes had volunteered significantly, up to 59 hours a week. These people may have more developed senses of altruism and compassion. And the final observation was that personal history matters. People who had survived a disaster or personal trauma made them 3 times more likely to be a hero and a volunteer. So today, I want to leave you with a couple of questions to ponder. First question, what type of person inspires you? Are they role models, mentors, heroes, or some combination of those? And second, how do you inspire those around you? Are you a role model, mentor, hero, or some combination of those? And with that, I'll leave you with the closing blessing, that you may find and better tap into your sources of inspiration, and that you may continue to be an even better source of inspiration to those around you. Amen. And for any of you out there who are local to Cork City, we will be holding our first in-person Sunday fellowship meeting since the fire. It will be on Sunday, the 26th of January at 11 a.m. at the Civic Trust House on Pope's Quay in Cork City. Look for more details on our Facebook page. Peace and blessings.